So that's an operating principle in systems theory, philosophy, systems in business to keep itself in business. And then when something comes along that might disrupt that, we have to do something about that disruption.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that's fearful about new ideas is that it's going to cause something else to happen, not just a neat thing, a good thing, but there's going to be some people that aren't going to be so happy with that new idea, and you're going to get some pushback, which
Right.
for a lot of people causes them to say, well, that wasn't such a good idea after all.
And I think that you have to, once you're aware that that type of competitive, destructive force is out there, I actually kind of enjoy that now. I enjoy facing that, knowing that it's coming because, again, it might go back to the challenge, but it's motivating to a degree, unless they actually succeed in, wiping out whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, that does happen, as you know.
Yeah, and you hear these stories. Like, I think everybody knows that I'm a huge Elon Musk fan.
Mm-hmm.
The spaces that Elon got into, I would have definitely been naive about it. But, talk about jumping in the tank with some sharks, right? He, working on solar and batteries technology for electric cars. He's basically getting into industries that are the biggest that we have, oil and cars and multiple billion-dollar companies that have a vested interest in, electric cars not coming to fruition until a certain time. Or the same with SpaceX and going to Mars. And I know that, there was a time when Elon, back in the early 2000s, was almost laughed out of existence when he talked about electric cars. The big three automakers derided him as, there's a famous video one time where they call electric cars a cult and say it'll never be a thing. And then fast forward here 15 years and all three big automakers are manufacturing electric cars. Ford came out with an electric Mustang. And when that was tweeted, somebody said something to Elon like, hey, what do you think of this? And he was like, wow. He said, I'm really happy. Tesla's mission was to accelerate the world's adoption of renewable energy. So what they probably thought was, these guys beat him to the punch. But it's amazing that Elon Musk was able to have the dent that he has, in that space now. But you hear about, there are countries that have wanted to assassinate him. I mean, this man is leading the way technologically, and I believe, and this is hugely controversial on Facebook, there are tons of people posting about, another billionaire sending himself to space. What an ego trip. Why don't you use that money to, solve problems here on the earth? Absolutely, those core ideas and questions are good, but that does not apply to Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not going to space to, satisfy his ego. I mean, there may be a part of that. We're all human beings. We all have a psychology, and who wouldn't feel great to do something so grand? But when you look at his reasons for doing it, and I don't want to get into all that here and make this whole talk about Elon Musk, but, he wants to make humanity a multi-planetary species. And here we have the ability to go to the moon and to Mars, and the Earth is a single point of failure. If a meteor or an extinction event happens here, or a plague or a disease, it only makes sense to me that we would do that, and then what other scientific discoveries, we think, there's nothing there, it's just a big rock. No, we shouldn't say that. We don't know what we're going to discover in the journey of doing this.
That's right.
We discovered penicillin from a fungus. Some people would have just thought, that's garbage, we don't need that. Yes. Somebody studied that, and now it's, increased our...
Yeah, well, same with Velcro and, Post-it notes and all those kinds of things. They were all accidental.
How did Velcro form? I've heard this. I forgot.
I don't remember. Accidental discoveries. So just think of all the things that NASA did to get
Viagra.
people.
It was supposed to be like a heart blood clot medicine, I think. Or
I have no idea.
Else.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Those little blue pills saved the world, right?
Right. Yeah. So
you did say something about Elon. I think it's worth talking about a little bit more. It was his ability to transcend the trap of. So what do you think about the big three? Outdoing you. And his response was, I'm just glad that Tesla was able to make a dent at the fact that they would even entertain doing it, as opposed to, oh yeah, they screwed us. And he didn't bite that. He didn't bite that hook, and
Right.
instead commended, hey, our company did what it should have done. It furthered the cause of electric automobiles.
And I think that's because he truly is mission focused.
Yeah.
Or vision focused. If
Yeah.
you focus on your vision, what you want that to be for your company, and it's not making money, the vision has to be something more purposeful. Making money is a byproduct of being able to actually actualize a vision. I think that. And I think that's why he's been so successful, why he can do so many things. People are amazed. How are you running all these companies? How do you have enough time in the day? I think he's in a zone of almost superhuman performance where he's capitalizing on every technology. Everything's maximally efficient. He knows where this Pareto's law that, 80% of your
80-20,
results
yeah.
come from 20% of your actions.
Yes.
I think that if a person can learn to identify that, they know where to spend their time, when to take leisure, when to be social, and when, what's going to have the maximum impact. What one act can I do? And he's doing it, and it doesn't surprise me that it's super controversial. Why would everybody love that? But when you look at leaders in the world, we've got political leaders, we've got celebrities, we've got teachers, there's millions of unknown people who are leading in different, incredibly valuable and necessary ways. But as far as a public figure goes, I'm totally on board with most of everything that he's doing. The way that he operates, he builds businesses to fund his other businesses. So for instance, Starlink, people talk about, why don't you do something to help humanity? He's literally going to launch 30,000 satellites. I think I don't know how many are in the air right now, but he's already started. He's giving internet access to the entire world. Are you kidding me? There's like 7 or 8 billion people in the world. I think might be 1 billion or 2 billion now have internet access. And they'll take these old, flip phones, give them to third world countries. I've heard stories of, a boy in Africa that was able to get on the internet and figure out how to dig a water well or something that basically provided life to that village just by having internet access. There was another boy that would ride like 5 miles a night on his bike to charge everybody's phones. And he would, trade or make money from that. It just improves the lives of everyone. And I'm thinking, this is incredible. This is going to, give access to the world in remote areas, all of the world's information. And, I don't know why I'm defending Elon. So I think there's been so much hate.
Yeah.
And by people who don't know the whole story, they don't know how he got to where he is now, all the benevolent acts that he's doing. I mean, there was a hurricane in Puerto Rico a couple years ago, and the government couldn't move fast enough to help these people. And he donated a battery array to give power to this island country from the sun, And when I hear people slander him as just a rich, selfish, greedy billionaire putting himself into space, I'm like, you have no idea what's going on. So anyway, I could go on and on about that, but
That's one of those things that keeps you awake at night.
it does keep me awake at night. And he's been a huge inspiration to me. I think that he does dream in grand visions, and I think that humanity needs that. We shouldn't always make just short-term achievable goals. We need something, science fiction. All the things that we have now in this modern century, jets, rockets, phones that literally stream movies over the air. Are you kidding me? At one time, that was just science fiction. People wrote about that. Look at Star Trek. Look at, they say that the iPad, you can almost see it. Or a Zoom call or Skype. They looked up at this big screen, on their spaceship. And all that envisioning and all that acting and all that storytelling was a precursor to getting the actual reality of that technology here. And they knew about it back then. We had computer chips and, we had, I heard that Apple had patents for the iPhone back in the 90s, right? And like when that came out in 2007, the head of Microsoft thought it was useless. They were like, who wants something like this? Like even the people that are at the top of an industry, sometimes they can't see.
Well, that's what Kodak happened. That's what happened to Kodak. they didn't.
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they didn't see the future of filmless cameras, even though they'd already produced them.
You're right, because they should have been leading that industry.
They're the ones. And where's Kodak at now? It's not around.
Or the famous Blockbuster Netflix story.
Yeah,
Blockbuster was positioned to become what Netflix is, and then
Yeah.
yeah.